My name is Doug Coltart. I'm a lawyer here at Mtetwa and Nyambira Legal Practitioners.
Chris Mike is my name. I'm a lawyer practicing with a firm called Atherstone & Cook. The main line of my work is constitutional law, media law, human rights.
My name is Obey Shava. I am a lawyer practicing with Shava Law Chambers, Rights and Business Center. I must mention that I'm also a member of the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights.
And during the COVID-19 lockdown, we found ourselves constantly being at the front line, having to render legal services to distressed citizens.
And my experience covering human rights during the lockdown period was had a mixed results, mixed feelings. It's quite exciting that human rights transcend political, social and economic situation. At every given area, at every turn of events, there ought to be someone protecting people's rights.
There was a lot of rights violations and the manner in which the lockdown was enforced was, in a lot of respects, it was arbitrary, and it was used as a cover-up for other human rights violations.
One had to leave home many times late at night or during weekends to ensure that citizens were protected.
During the initial stages of the lockdown, I must say that it wasn't easy. You have relatives who are pleading with you to consider doing something else which is not too risky. The emotional stress, you are faced with those relatives, kids and wife, who are particularly affected by the very work that you are doing, who are afraid of receiving a strange knock at the middle of the night from nowhere. Such has been the situation in the country. So it had a great deal on our mental state of affairs.
My greatest fear now is that for a very long time, this pandemic is going to be used as a way to violate human rights. We have seen that a lot of these extremely draconian restrictive laws are still in place, even though they're not being enforced, because the pandemic is not raging in Zimbabwe. They are selectively enforced when they want to fix someone for political reasons. Then, of course, we have seen the suspension of by-elections, which totally violates all citizens' political rights to choose their leaders, the representation in parliament.
In the field of human rights, one has to prioritize the best interests of victims of violations. Many a time you do not have the luxury of thinking about your own safety or your own interests.
Doing this kind of work in Zimbabwe certainly always it comes with a level of threat, but I think you learn to manage that threat and to manage that fear.
You have to ask yourself, if I can be intimidated to the extent that I do not protect the clients who are victims, I do not protect ordinary citizens who are vulnerable, so who will be there for them? So it is a risk that we must be prepared to take at any given moment. It is a risk that we know it will always be there, but then you have to devise means of trying to alleviate, of trying to minimize the exposure to such risks. COVID-19 is real. The risk, the threats from the security forces is real, and so is the threat, the risk of completely destroying whatever right that was brought about by the Constitution in the year 2013.